Thank you for joining us on the show. Hope you enjoy this comparison. Here's to you. Hi guys, I'm Patrick.
And I'm Adam.
And this is Clock,
Stock,
and Barrel. And this is Amelie the cat.
Our new prop for the show.
I've mentioned this in an unboxing. If you've watched one of Adam's unboxings, you would have noticed he has a black cat. This is not the same black cat. Can't make that assumption. They don't all look the same. This is my cat, Amelie. She is a rescue kitty, and she's lovely. And she's going to just sit here for the duration of this episode. At any rate, guys, if you haven't guessed it from the title of this episode, we're doing a comparison between a very popular watch on the channel, and that being my Oris TT1. Thank you guys for the love. I love this watch too. Also, Adam's new watch.
Yeah, so I think in our latest video I said, in 2017 I will buy a Aquis. I will buy another Aquis.
Yeah.
And so that didn't take very long. I have an Aquis right here. I decided to go with a special edition though this time. This is the all-black, kind of fashion-y watch. All-black El Hierro edition.
El Hierro.
El Hierro.
Yes, yes. That's also coincidentally a special at Taco Bell right now. So if you love chicken chalupas with a pork fat on the side, that's just, I don't know what they're doing. It's just a thing. She clearly doesn't like me, dude. You're making me look bad.
So this is a limited edition to 2000, which is kind of cool, and we'll kind of get into the whole El Hierro edition, what it means, and
why don't we start there? We've gone over the TT1 and my thoughts on it. Today it's going to be a comparative analysis of the case designs. We're also going to cover the movements, which are actually the same movement. Also the different strap options you can find with the modern one as well as the older one, and which you should go for. But why don't we start with a little bit of the background first?
Alright guys, so this El Hierro special edition, this is via Houdinki, everything that I'm about to read for you right now.
So shout out.
In the Spanish Canary Islands, Oris is backing the scholarships of 3 university students at the Faculty of Marine Sciences at the University of Las Palmas de Gran Canaria to support the research of the El Hierro submarine volcano. So this is basically a special edition to 2,000 pieces created for this underwater volcano, which is kind of interesting. But Oris has that tie to a lot of aquatics, I guess, and marine. They have so many divers that it kind of makes sense that they would have sponsor something like this. Plus, it's probably really good for some tax write-offs too.
Yeah.
But it's cool though. It's a limited edition, like I said, 2,000 pieces. It's I got this for a pretty good deal. You can see the case back.
Yeah, that case back's phenomenal. I'm sure you
saw
some of it in the close-up, but I'll try to get a little bit more light on it this time.
You guys know that well, maybe you don't know, but the Aquis usually has a clear case back with that Oris red rotor.
Yeah.
But this one has a cool little, I guess, engraved black DLC coated stainless back that has the volcano, and it says El Hierro Special Edition on it.
So it's my first time seeing it. I've played with a lot of Aquises before. I've never seen this. It's interesting. I don't know what the buckle material is. It just feels so light. Maybe it is stainless steel, but it's just...
Yeah, it is stainless, but it does feel very light.
So
what are your initial impressions about just kind of the Aquis in general? You have the TT1, right?
Hate it.
They're definitely really similar.
God, do I have to talk about this? No, it's really nice, guys. It's really nice. Again, you know my preferences if you've watched our Oris TT1 review video. I'd encourage you to check that out. I'll leave a link down below for you. The one thing I'll say right off the bat, screwed in spring bars?
Yes. Yeah. Pretty cool. Pretty badass.
Kind of wish we had those. kind of wish we had those here. That's okay though. I don't intend to take off that bracelet, and it's the one size bracelet anyway. So
yeah. I mean, unless I get a black DLC bracelet for this, I'm not touching it either. But
what a shame too.
as I've mentioned
what's that?
As I mentioned in the video before, like I love this rubber, so it's staying on rubber. I'm never putting this on a bracelet. So
yeah, these are actually different lug widths too. So if you're interested in getting a TT1, I don't think you could get a rubber for a modern Aquis and put it on there. Initial impressions, I really love it. I love the case back. I really like the case back on these newer Aquises. It sort of reminds me of like how Omega does those holes. I'm sure other people do it, but you'll notice the case back is different. Just the way it screws in. I don't know if you can see that, but a little bit different there. I really love this watch, man. The bezel is bigger, but why don't you run down a few of the specifics?
Can we talk about the smell too?
Of the rubber?
Yeah, it's amazing. So the thing is, my other Aquis that I had back in the day, I wore it all summer, and that vanilla scent just never leaves. It's amazing. You know, no matter how much you sweat on it. But yeah, it has a Solita SW2000, I guess, right? 200. It's 200, 2000. Tomato.
As many zeros as you want.
2 million.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a standard. It's basically like an ETA 2824. It has a 38-hour power reserve, hacking, hand winding. I think one thing we should note, and this is basically a generalization of all Orises, or all Oris watches, is that the timekeeping is incredible. I've owned 2 Aquises. I think this one, I'm going to check right now, but I set this to my iPhone to the second, and I think it's probably been a little over 24 hours now, and this thing is, okay, so it's running about 4 seconds fast. So we'll give it like a 3 seconds. The point is, my other Aquis was running, I think, plus 2 seconds. Your Oris 65...
Yeah,
you have on your wrist right now. Let's do some wristwatch checks, yeah.
So I'm wearing a new Oris 65. I got this in for review. I bought it from one of our subscribers. Thank you, Alan. Shout out to you. It's really great. He gave me a bracelet and this canvas strap. Of course, I have it on the bracelet. I love my bracelets. I have to say, this is the most comfortable watch I've ever worn. It beats my TT1 by a mile. It's so light and so nice on the wrist. So nice.
It's awesome.
My Oris 65 right now. And
I'm wearing my new Tudor Bronze. You guys would have seen the unboxing, I guess, at this point a couple weeks ago, maybe a week ago or so. And I love it so far. It's awesome. It's a great piece. So we'll do a full review. You guys will see that later on in the channel. So yeah. But yeah, the timekeeping on these Oris watches.
Stellar, dude.
Yours is what, plus 1 second? So all of these are running in
like
cost
0
specs.
to a plus 1 second a
Yeah.
day.
Right.
This TT1, I think it's falling a little bit behind, but it's older.
It is a lot older, and it may not have been serviced.
I'm going to post a loom shot on our Instagram, but it's interesting. The loom on this TT1 is still amazing. It's actually better than my 65.
Yeah.
At any rate, why don't we get to the differences and the similarities between these 2 watches?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's a lot of similarities, right? That's like basically the grandpa.
Yeah.
So a lot of the cues, you know, the bezels are very similar. Bezel's a little bit thicker on
the bezel's thicker and wider.
Wider.
Aquis,
yes.
So you guys know, and of course we mentioned this in our review of this piece, but that has a brushed ceramic bezel insert, whereas this has the steel. Yeah. And you can see the brushing on that. Yeah. Yeah,
in the sunlight, that brushed ceramic looks really, really cool.
Also, this one has a Sunburst Dial. This is unique to the Hierro, where the standard Aquis would have a matte finish. They might even have a Sunburst finish dial. Not that
I think, from what I remember, it was a bit... I think it might have been matte.
Okay.
I can't even remember, to be honest.
It's matte.
But
for the most part, I think they're
this Sunburst, though, like you said earlier, I didn't even notice that. In the light, you get kind of this rainbow effect. I don't know if the camera's going to be able to pick that up.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see that. It's interesting, though, because I mentioned how much I love the dial on this watch, but I love the Sunburst finish on the Hierro as well. And you'll notice this one has a wave dial, which is one difference there. Also, those markers are bullet-like in appearance. The hour markers on the modern Aquis are a little bit more subdued. They're more bar-like with just a slight curvature. The hands, though, are exactly the same hand design, aside from the seconds hand. The seconds hand on this watch has 2 orbs, I'll say, 2 dots. So one at the end, one near the tip that marks the second. This guy just has that solid bar with the lollipop on the end. You know what? It's you know, tell me which one you like more. The cases themselves, you'll notice that the kettle on the older model is slightly more pronounced, whereas the newer one, it's not as shapely as a kettle as this older piece, but you know, it's still rocking that same aesthetic. The lugs as well. This one's more angled, where this one's curved. This one has sort of a curved lug, the way it shapes towards the wrist, where this one has a definite stop and it falls down. I like how they modernized that. And again, like we mentioned earlier, the bezel is a little bit wider, thicker on that, and the case back is different. The crown has a crown guard.
I love the crown guard on there.
Yeah, and the crowns themselves are very similar in style. I think the crown here, you'll notice, is actually just a little bit wider as opposed to this one. And I'm assuming they made this one flatter and more flush because it had no crown guard. That's just how it came out.
Yeah, and I do love the crown guards. How it's it kind of has this industrial look to it. You can see there's screws right in the crown guard as well, and you can see the kind of aggressive angles on the actual crown guard itself. I think it just kind of gives the Oris, the Aquis, kind of an overall, you know, badass kind of I don't know, beater industrial kind of aggressive look. You know? And that's something that I'm a huge fan of.
So there aren't too many dissimilarities with these two watches. It's, you know, just a more modernized version of the kettle-shaped TT1 and the Aquis case. So it's going to be up to you as to which one you like more. There are minor differences between these two watches. I'm just going to do a close-up to end this video for you guys. They're both excellent watches. They both run amazing movements, and they're both, I mean, from our experience, we've purchased a couple Oris watches, excuse me. I think we've had 6 between us.
Something like that, yeah.
And all of them have been plus or minus a second a day, which is insane because they're not cost certified watches.
They're not, right, but they're still out of the factory. They must be regulating them through a bajillion different positions, and I don't know, maybe we're just lucky, but I don't know, we've had 6 and they've all been great, so yeah. I mean, I think it comes down to you know, the styling too. Obviously the Aquis is just a little bit more aggressive with the way the lugs, the angling on the lugs, you know, less curvature, and overall the crown guard kind of adds another aggressive element to it. So
yeah. So if you guys are having trouble deciding on which aesthetic you preferred, I think it's going to come down to, you know, you're probably going to have to service this sooner. It's totally fine. You know, when you buy a luxury, I'm going to say these are luxury. Whenever you spend more than $500 for a watch,
mid-tier luxury.
I'm going to say it's a luxury piece. So expect, you know, to run the prices are going to run a little higher on servicing something like this. So you're committed when you go into these, and you're probably going to have to service this sooner. But again, they're both aesthetically pleasing watches. I think they're both great Oris pieces. There's a lot of similarities here, and there's a few differences. It's going to be down to which one you like more.
I think it's important to say too that I think we can agree on this, that for the price range, we're talking any watches from like $800 to $1,500. Oris is, I mean, on the top,
killing it, right?
Just absolutely killing everybody.
This extends
it's
to
no contest.
Their entire lineup, but particularly as we're discussing divers today, their dive watches. I mean, I just picked this one up. You know, these average around $900 to $1,400. These 65s. Now they don't go as, you know, if you're a diver and you're watching this right now, this is a 100-meter diver as opposed to 2 300-meter divers. But the fit, finish, movement, overall quality of Oris watches for the price, to me, is a 10 out of 10. And I think that's why we're doing
11
this.
out of 10.
11 out of 10.
Yeah.
I was joking with Adam earlier. I said that about this rivet bracelet on this new 65, that it was an 11 out of 10 for me. It's money. It feels so nice on the wrist. You know, if you're going to buy an Oris watch, you cannot go wrong with either of these 3 models. And when it comes to the Aquis and the TT1, it's really just that aesthetic. This one's slightly curvier. This one's more aggressive. That's really the difference, the predominant difference I see here.
Yeah, and if you do really like rubber and want, you know, something on rubber,
These new rubber straps are amazing for
and
Oris.
the clasp. I forgot to mention too, the clasp on this Oris is probably my favorite clasp of all time. The ability to micro adjust on the fly, especially during the summer. I mean, during the day, like, you know, when you're inside in a cold apartment, you go outside and it's super humid, your wrist swells up. It's so easy to just push the pins in here, size it, make it a little bit larger. I probably adjust this like 10 times a day in the summertime, and it's so easy, you know? So, best clasp, my favorite rubber of all time, and I love that integrated look too, so. Alright guys, so we're going to leave you really quickly with just a wrist shot. We both have 7 1/4 inch wrists. Just to kind of show you how these, you know, sit on the wrist. Mine is black, so obviously it's going to wear a little bit smaller, since it is black, but overall, any Oris you pick, whether it's a 65 or, you know, the TT1 or this Aquis, you're gonna love it. So we'll leave you guys with these wrist shots.
Nice, and there we go. Part of it being upside down, but it gives you a good impression of how the watch is going to sit on the wrist. Again, guys, I don't feel like you could go wrong with either of these. These T2 are harder to pick up, although they are a little bit more affordable. So if you're interested in getting one, I definitely suggest you start searching now. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching the show. If you like this episode, hit a like button. I know it was hardly a comparison because there's not that much difference between these two guys, but to give you an idea of these aesthetic qualities, this is great to have them up close in person, and you realize there's more differences than you expect when you finally have them in hand. And this goes back to something I said in a previous video. Oris is always reimagining what they're doing. I love that. Guys, if you disliked it, awesome. Hit that dislike button. And also, if you want to see more content like this, feel free to hit the subscribe button. Also, you can hit the... That's so loud! Also, you can hit that bell and you'll start seeing these videos as they come up. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining us. Catch you on the next one.
See you guys.